Hello, my name is Nagel, and I'm going to show you how to edit a few pictures today. First off, I have a picture from the Humboldt baseball field that I took myself, and we're going to make it kind of look like a black and white old time picture. So, first off, we're going to go here to the gradient map, and that's what turns it the black and white kind of here. And then the next, I'm going to pick the exposure. And I'm going to bring this exposure up a little bit, but the thing that really kind of makes it look cool is the gamma correction. I brought that down, or my bad, I brought that up here. It kind of brings it a darker tone here a little bit. This is kind of just simple stuff starting off here, just using these tools over here. And the next thing I chose was the levels right here, and I changed the preset instead of default. I changed it to midtones darker. I think it looked pretty cool darker here. And then the final thing I changed was the brightness and the contrast. I kind of brightened it up a little bit at the end, a little bit of touch up, and I kind of brought this down up a little bit, down. And that is my first photo. And as you can see, it kind of looks like an old time baseball dugout now. I edited it with a kind of old effect to it. Now, the second photo I have here is also of Humboldt. Pretty sunset there. And I'm going to make that kind of pop out, make it the sun brighter and stuff. And first, another picture, I kind of went with these basic little things right here. And I changed the exposure, and I changed that kind of up. And as you can see, it makes the sun look brighter here. I kind of played around with here, put the gamma correction up so the ground would look darker, and I didn't really play with the offset here. And the second thing I did here was the hue saturation adjustment. There, I kind of brought this up, and I kind of played with these colors, see what would look pretty cool. And I found the purple in here, and I thought it looked pretty cool. And I put the saturation up also. And then the final thing I did was go to the color, no, my bad, the channel mixer. Here, if I can find it, here, right here. And I changed the red up, and it kind of made that right here around, it kind of made that brighter pinkish purple. Look pretty cool here. And as you can see, here's the finished product. It made the sunset look brighter, and I changed some of the colors that make it look pretty cool. Now my third photo here is on the outskirts of Humboldt. Pretty good picture of the water tower and the buildings there. And for this one, first off, I went to filter right up here. I went to sharpen and sharpened it. And then I went right back again, went to filter, went to sharpen, and I sharpened the edges of it. And then I went to filter, stylize, and diffused it. And I went anisotropic here, and okay, kind of takes a little while for it to diffuse. What I'm going to do here with this picture is make the sky look bluer and really bring out the colors in the picture here. Just wait a little, okay. And then for the exposure, I went over here to the basic adjustments here, and changed the exposure, and I brought the exposure up and lightened it up just a tad bit, not too quite big. And then I changed the offset here down. As you can see here, it kind of brings out the green in the grass there and stuff. And then the final thing I did here to make the sky bluer is I went to the vibrance, and I brought the vibrance up, and I also brought the saturation up. The saturation is what really made the sky blue. And as you can see, this is the finished picture. It brought out the colors in the picture, and it looks pretty cool here. And my fourth photo is of the Humboldt Town sign, and what I did to this, I kind of made it look like an animated effect here. So I'm going to start off, I changed the brightness and contrast. I brought the brightness up, and I also brought the contrast up quite a bit. And as you can see, it's right off the bat, it's kind of looking like an animated. The blue is kind of looking like an animated type of deal there. And the next thing I did was went to the levels adjustment right here, changed the preset right there to increase contrast 3, and that kind of brought out the colors. It kind of brought out the area right down here. And the next thing I did was change the exposure, and I brought the exposure up here. And as you can see, look those colors right there. That's what kind of makes it cool, I think, with the bright blue in there. And then I put the gamma correction all the way down. It brings out the black, as you can see right here. And the next step to this effect, I went to hue saturation and put hue down. And I kind of played around with the colors, but I kind of wanted to keep it at a blue, so I just went slightly down to like a -5 right here. And I brought the saturation up a little bit. And then for the final step for mine, I went to color balance and kind of went up here just slightly. It doesn't really change it much, but I went there anyway. I kind of changed the colors around to see if it would look cooler here. And there's the finished product. It kind of looks like animated type and really brings out different kind of colors, I think. And it looked pretty cool, I thought. Alright, here's my next photo. It's a picture of the downtown Humboldt here, the street. And there's not too many steps for this one. I kind of made it kind of simple here. First off, I went to filter, render, and then I went to the lighting effects. And then I made the outsides of the picture black, the edges kind of black. I thought it looked pretty cool doing that. See there, and then you go up to this button right here, press OK. See, you can see the edges are black. Kind of looks like out of the lens there. And then I went to render once again, and I went to the lens flare, and I can change the brightness up. And as you can see in this little preview here, it kind of brings out the lights, and I think it looks pretty cool there. So I'm gonna put that in. See, that's why they call it the lens flare. It kind of looks like these flares on the lenses here. And then I went to filter, noise, and I added the noise here. And I didn't do it too much. I kind of changed a little bit of it. It kind of makes it some of that blurry, staticky. That looks pretty cool. And I changed it there. And there's my finished photo for my fifth photo. And again, I went to filter here again, and I went to the render and lighting effects and change this outside right here, cancel that. Then I went to the render and lens flare and played around with that, made it kind of the bright. And then my final thing, I added the noise, which is kind of the staticky stuff around. And now on to my final photo is an old building in Humboldt, which I thought I could make it it's kind of an old building, so I could make it an older type of picture. Made the effects look like it was taken in the 1950s era. And so to do that, I went up to brightness and contrast, and I brought the brightness up, and I also brought the contrast up too. And then I went to vibrance, and I brought the vibrance up in the picture, and then I brought the saturation down in the photo, and I brought it quite a bit down because make it some of that older type of feel in there. And then next step, I went to the color balance, and I brought out the red. I think the red is taken with those really old pictures. I see some of those older pictures taken, and they're kind of in that style like that. So I just changed the red up a tiny bit. And next step I went to was the curves, and I went to the preset here, and I went to lighter RGB. Press that. It changed it a little bit, kind of changed the brightness a little bit. And then the final thing I did was change the exposure, and I changed the exposure up just a tad bit. And right there. And there you go. There, I showed you a bunch of photos that different types of ways you can change photos here and edit them. And I hope you guys learned something from me here, and thanks for watching.